remember when I used to make sketchbook videos? I don't do that anymore. So I think what happened was I was 20 years old, and then a pandemic happened. I don't know. I was younger, and now I'm 23. So yeah, I'm kind of out of practice with sketchbook tours. And honestly, I should just get right into it, because if I keep talking, I'm just gonna keep talking about stuff that doesn't matter, and then nobody wants to hear. But I have been making sketchbooks, not as much as I did in high school, which is honestly, I think about that every day. I think about myself in high school and how prolific I was, even with my lack of skill, because I was just bored a lot of the time because I didn't really have an adolescence. It was a half-baked adolescence. I didn't really try or do anything except art. Art was my little outlet for a little adolescent man, and that's why she made a sketchbook every month and made sketchbook videos. But then I got busy with life, and I did school, I graduated, I got an art job. Look at me. Where are they now, men in sketchbook tours that she stopped doing? And that's okay. This is the problem with my sketchbook tours, is I always try to make it like a little stand-up comedy special. I can talk more while this... Man, and you can talk more while the sketchbook's going. You don't have to talk this much at the beginning. You have more time to talk. It's okay. Affirmations. What? See what I mean about if I keep talking, I'm gonna keep talking about things that don't matter and nobody cares about? So let's stop this madness and get on with the show. All right, here she is. I like the stickers that are on it. My sister gave me this one. I got this one randomly. It's glow in the dark. You just gotta trust me on this. A Gale sticker. This was amazing. So I worked at the print lab at my university, where we print art and stuff. And someone came in and was printing these, which is a Gale sticker with a QR code that takes you to the first Gale video on Chris Fleming's channel. This was like random. I have this like roll of Halloween pattern tape that I got at the DI. I also found this in the print lab, this sticker. I think this is Darren Sharp from the Leviathan series. I can't remember. This is one of those sketchbooks I sort of picked up and put down every few months for a while, and then at the end I sort of pulled it together and just kind of drew in it till it was done. But yeah, just gonna take you through it, and honestly, gonna be kind of fast. Oh, these are sketches from a book called Instant Karma by Marissa Meyer, author of the Cinder Chronicles. It was really cute. It was like a little rom-com book about a girl who suddenly finds she has the power to like enact karma on people. And it's also like a little romance. This was one of those like art block days. You can tell because this body is very stiff. Draw food, play bird. Rest of the list is blank. No idea. Oh, I remember now. I was playing Wingspan, which is a board game, and I was writing out what I wanted my next moves to be. Honestly, when all else fails and I don't know what to draw, I usually just draw like a mermaid-esque creature with like spooky little ears and wavy hair. And, you know, everyone's got to have their go-to. Blank page. Shame on me. Katniss. I think this last year or year before, we were watching all of the Hunger Games movies, and I literally haven't stopped thinking about them. Like, something about them, especially Peeta. Love Peeta so much. Like, I'm a Peeta girl for life, in more ways than one. Sometimes when you don't want to draw, you can just draw real small. I find sometimes that drawing small helps me draw when I don't want to draw. But I do want to draw. You know that feeling of like there are two wolves inside of you. One wants to draw and one absolutely doesn't want to draw. Sometimes you just draw real small. So. But yeah, I mean, recently I've had the great opportunity to have an art job where I do art as my job, which is great. I never thought I would get one, especially the same year that I graduate. I was expecting to have a little more of some starving artist time, if you know what I mean. This is Paul Atreides from Dune, which I read. Did I read that? No, last year. Last year I read Dune, and then the movie came out, and I absolutely loved it. That movie is so good. I watched it on a plane, actually, the second time, and I think the time watching it on a plane was more impactful than watching it the first time in theaters. I was like crying because it was so beautiful. Anyway, so I have an art job. It's great. I was talking about how I wanted some starving artist time, time to really struggle, and I did have some of that. My last year of school, or my last semester of school, honestly was very wild. I was doing my BFA, and I was doing a bunch of cool classes that I loved. I was working on the film for the animation people. This was for my Viz Dev and character design class, which was very good. It was a class I had to apply to, actually, which is fun, because I was in the illustration degree, and to get into the animation classes, I had to apply, but it was great. Okay, this looks like it may be inspired by Mavis from Hotel Transylvania, which is very valid. I went through a little bit of a vampire phase. I was a vampire for Halloween last year, just because I wanted to, and that was actually before I started watching What We Do in the Shadows. I think I was just in a vampire-y mood, and it was very fun to, get those little, fangs that you press into your teeth, and then now I just have vampire fangs for whatever I want. Big plus. Little fairies. I love doing these, little... This one I love a lot. I don't know why I love it so much. It just, it emotes something. That's another thing I default to. It's just, little fairies and mermaids. This is, the little sketchbook I took around with me in class and such. I think this is Luke. No, it's Link. This last year was my year of Breath of the Wild, which was great. And I actually have finished the game since. Great. A big staple of this last year and a half. This is, of course, Phil from Croods 2. One of the best characters, animated characters, I believe, exists. Yeah, these past 2 years have been just kind of a whirlwind. And some days I just pause and I'm like, have I really done anything? And I think I really think that because so much has happened that I can't remember. And then I'm just I'm doing nothing. But actually, I did a lot. So much. Probably too much. Which is why I feel like I'm kind of at this, point where I'm not doing a lot. And I think I'm just catching up, This was a early drawing of a character for my BFA. That's not what she looked like in the final. A little bit, but not really. So this little sketchbook really carried me through some times. But yeah, like I said, my last semester was insane. Truly did not have a moment to relax at all. Every day I was doing classes, right? And then every night I had a lot of work to do because my BFA just kind of had to be drawn and everything done sort of in my free time, which was insanity. And I was also in an IP development class and other classes that just took up so much extra time as well because I was making work for them outside of class. It was insane. It was really, truly crazy. I grew a lot. Because I just had to, I was forced, these are sketches of Harriet, by the way. I think I saw the movie Harriet, which was really good. I was just kind of forced into drawing so fast, just out of survival, because I needed to submit assignments. And so that was good for me, because I sometimes can be very slow and very overthinky with my pieces. And a lot of these sketches are for while I'm in class thinking about what I'm going to do for the project. And honestly, sometimes that backfired, the whole speeding to make stuff for class, the more Dune sketches. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it backfired, and I just created trash. But, I created a lot of trash real fast, and that's how you get better. But now I think in these days, where I have free time in the evenings, I'm getting back into the slower pace, which is more natural for me. I still have the skills from that very fast time of trying to make stuff every single day for both my BFA and for classes. And yeah, it was just speeding along until I graduated. And I was also working a job, by the way. I was working a job where I had to draw as well. I was working 2 jobs. 2 jobs and classes and BFA and graduating, and nothing else could fit in the crevices, but somehow things did. So a good time. Guillermo. This is about the time I started watching What We Do in the Shadows, which I love. Nadia. Love her. The whole show. Great. Fantastic. More sketches for my main character, for my BFA. Some more little fairies. Yeah, fairies and mermaids. I think I don't actually consider myself much of a fantasy person in terms of like what I watch or read, but for some reason it's like the most fun to draw. And I think for me, especially because I like drawing people, and sometimes I get bored of just drawing plain old people. So I'm like, what if I gave those people wings and ears and funky clothes? Normal, regular people with non-pointy ears and no wings. I think this is Spock. Spock's got to find his way in somehow in all of my sketchbooks. I think this was, this says, emotion. Essay writing and children screaming is giving me a headache, same as yesterday. Still pretty happy, though. This was Thanksgiving break, which was a very stressful break, as I had a lot of finals due, like, right after Thanksgiving. So it was kind of a break, and also kind of just stressful, because I had to write a big, long essay that I put off because of said very busyness. These were, like, style studies from drawings I liked. But yes, even now in my early 20s, where I am producing less on the personal art side of things, I've been given good opportunities to, make art for other things that aren't personal, which is great. But I do find myself kind of frustrated with not having a lot of time or energy at the end of the day to sort of do my own personal work. But I feel like I'm slowly getting back into it. And though it might take a little longer, it's still very, like, fulfilling when I do it. And also I've been getting into other kinds of hobbies. Other hobbies that aren't, art, like directly drawing. Like hobbies like, I like to do embroidery now. I did an embroidery this weekend for the first time. And cross-stitching and what else? Reading. I'm getting way back into reading, which has been very good, because reading was honestly probably my first love. Maybe drawing was kind of my first love, but reading was right there with it. It was kind of hand in hand, and now I'm getting back into it, and it feels natural. It feels beautiful. It feels like something is being, some kind of, like, ancient thing in me is being refreshed, which is good. Flower girl. Girl with braids. This is how I was visually keeping track of my BFA pieces. I think I finished a sketchbook longer ago than I think. Like, I thought this was a sketchbook I had recently finished, but I guess not. Whatever. It was kind of recent. It was a few months ago. Anyway, this is how I was visually keeping track of each piece in my BFA, because for some reason, the little check-off lists weren't working, and I had to visually see how done something was. So I would just kind of, like, look at the piece and measure how much had already been finished and how much needed to be done. And then I would come back and, like, fill it back in. And that seemed to work a little bit better. I went to the aquarium. I didn't get a lot of sketches at the aquarium. I went with some other artists, and I wasn't actually intending to draw all that much. Although I guess I was, because I brought a sketchbook, but they were all drawing, and so I was like, I need to draw. And so I got a few little sketches, and we all, like, sketched together while we ate lunch. That was really fun. That was another, like, way to keep track of my BFA, but it was, like, I was, like, figuring out when I needed to, like, resize everything and then finish it and then actually print it, and I was keeping track like that. It sort of helped. I don't know. It was a scramble. A true scramble. That's why I have just all of these, like, do this, because it was hard to keep. I can barely keep track of one thing recently these days, and so keeping track of, like, 9 to 10 different pieces and levels of finish was truly wild. More fairies. I did read some I'm reading some fae books this year, which is interesting. Some good, some bad. But it's it is what it is. These are some people at the airport. Truly, one thing about me I don't know will ever change is that I hate airports. sometimes you can't find a place to sit. Everything's really expensive. Sometimes, most of the time I think it's because I'm flying alone and I'm sad. So that was my little airport manifesto. Maybe one day I will find a way to like it. But right now, it has got to be one of my least favorite places to be. Especially going, like, once you get through security, it's fine, I guess. But security is annoying. Obviously, no one likes security. But even after that, it's annoying. Also, this is when I got my color-changing pencils, which I still have been doodling with. I actually bought a little book like yesterday, 2 days ago, and I've been using my color change pencils in it for these little beetles that were the design for one of my embroidery thing. Anyway, the end of here gets real sparse. I think these are some more aquarium sketches that were just very, very quick and very, very quick and dirty. I want to go back to the aquarium and draw, just for fun. Maybe I'll do that next weekend. I don't know. I just like want to do that because I love sea creatures and they're just beautiful to me. And this is the end. Just, the back is always very random. It's just because I flip to the back when I want to just like get something down real fast. And don't know why I do that, because then it makes the end of the sketchbook really lackluster. Like that. This is Paul from Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals. And I don't know what those are. 17 eggs, 5 cash. Oh, this is more Wingspan stuff. I have another one that I finished recently that was more in the middle of the year. And I'm going to get that one now. I thought I had lost it, but it was just in my big bin. My big spooky bin of sketchbooks that I put there when they're done or I don't want to be using them at the moment. So, woohoo. Right now it's 1 a.m. and I'm deciding whether or not I have the energy to go through this one. My eyes are sticking together. Man, maybe I'll start and finish later. That sounds like a plan to me.